welcome you, Jason, and invite you to have the floor.
Thank you so much, Holly. First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this amazing meeting today. I know that we connected a little bit before, and I know that some of you guys might be familiar with the 21st Century Program. I know Miss Kim Berry is definitely familiarized with the 21st Century Program. But the way that at PM Wells we do the 21st Century Program is a little bit different than the traditional way. Yes, we have our objectives and we have our goals that we try to focus on to stay within guidance and compliance, but we try to reach out to our community. 4 years ago, when I took over this program, one of the biggest things that I wanted to change is what can we do for our community? Yes, we as business partners, sometimes we ask a lot of our business partners in our community, but what can the 21st Century Program provide to our community as well? And that's something that I want to instill on my students from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. I want to be able to try to go ahead and show them, what is it that we could go ahead and do for others? So for each month, we go ahead and we call it a family meeting. Once in the first Wednesday of the month, we get all the students in the cafeteria and we have a quick assembly to go ahead and discuss a different community outreach event for that month. For the month of November, we started talking in regards to, what we're thankful for. And one of our kindergarteners started bringing up the subject that they see a lot of homeless people in the community. So our students started collaborating together, over 100 students together, just shooting off ideas of what they're thankful for, but also the less fortunate that, they might be struggling, especially during this pandemic. So they decided to go ahead and do a local food drive at the school, which is not, something out of the ordinary, especially at a school during Thanksgiving. But though usually the 21st Century Program, we do events just for the 21st Century Program. But this time we decided to go ahead and invite our school, the whole 900 students. We decided, let's open up this challenge. The students decided to go ahead and reach out with my site coordinator, Ms. Michelle Reed, to a local business partner, Cece's Pizza, and see if they could go ahead and donate pizza to the homeroom class that had the most donations. So this little idea of, hey, let's go ahead and do a small little food drive turned into a pretty big project. We had about 3 weeks to go ahead and get everything going. One of the biggest things was, where are we going to donate the food to? So they started reaching out to the 8th graders. They were tasked with the objectives to go ahead and start reaching out to different agencies that were willing to not only, take the donations, but also to come help us pick up the food. A few years ago, I did this at another school, and I was kind of like going back and forth delivering items. So I was not trying to do that, especially during the whole COVID era right now. So I was like, okay, can you guys come on campus, pick up the food for us? So we partnered up with the St. Cloud Community Pantry here in Kissimmee, Florida. And they went ahead and they were like, you know what, we'll give you guys boxes. We will go ahead and connect with you guys. They were just expecting, they just gave us around 5 boxes. We were expecting maybe 300 donations. Little did we know, after 3 weeks, we picked up 1,932 items of donations, and we made over 1,600 meals for a homeless shelter. Our students were beyond thrilled about it. The lady that came over, Cindy, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna bring my car. I'm like, I don't think so. Do you have a truck? So she brought in a U-Haul truck, and this thing started filling up, and she was like, okay, I need a van. So she brought in a van as well, and we started filling up the van. It turned into like a whole assembly line from our cafeteria all the way to the parking lot. Students passing on boxes and boxes, and that sense of pride in our program, and not only in our program, but in our school, that we were able to come together and be able to reach out and make something happen. In the past, we've done plenty of outreach programs. One of my biggest and most famous one was the animal shelter one, where we, collect items, cat food, cat litter, dog food, blankets and stuff like that, and donate it to different animal shelters throughout the county. But this, by far, this food drive, it felt a little bit more pride and a huge sense of just, like I said, that prideness in the school, because not only were we giving back, but we also received a small video and a small thank you token from our families that we were able to give and help out. So when I shared that with the students, I mean, some of the students, of course, you see some of the tears, then you see the laughter and the clapping and everything. So it was that huge sense of, hey, we did it together. This 21st Century Program came together and be able to reach out to our community. And that's all I wanted my students and my staff. I mean, at the end of the day, I always tell my staff, it is because of their hard work and dedication that we're able to succeed in today's world and be able to make the difference in children's lives. I come up with plenty of crazy ideas, but it is because of my staff and their dedication, and then the student and their hard work, that we're able to come up with these ideas and be able to make a difference in just the not traditional, typical 21st century, but kind of reach out into our community and be like, hey, this is what we're about. We're grant funded, but this is what we want to give back to you. So that is pretty much my kind of kudos to my team and my staff. So I want to thank Holly so much, and especially Brian, for reaching out and being able to let me go ahead and share my good news with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Josh. We really appreciate it. I have a question to kind of start this off, and want to encourage those that are on the collaborative, if they have any additional questions, to ask you as well. What was the impetus for deciding that you wanted to do this kind of monthly give back? Like, where did that stem from?
Growing up in the school district system, there were times that it was like we received some of the challenges. But growing up, not only in the school district system, but also working in the school district system, and then now in the charter school, I saw a lot of the, hey, what can you give us as a school? Which is honestly all great in all sense, because we do need things in the school, but it is more also, I want to be able to not only teach the students of give me, hey, what can we give back as well? So that has always been one of my biggest passions. Wherever I want, from a classroom teacher now to a program director, what can we give back? What can we go ahead and what kind of difference can we go ahead and make? So when I started working there, I brought in that passion towards the program, and I was blessed enough that my staff were able to go ahead and pick up from that, and then the students were able to go ahead and bring their minds together and be able to support this. So it is a long year. We have around of course, the school year is 10 months, and then we have our summer program, which is an additional month. So it is 11 months of projects, and we try not to do the same project every year. So year 4 right now, I am running out of ideas. So I would love to hear different ideas from you guys of what can we do to come together and be able to go ahead and give back to our community.
Thank you for sharing. At this point, I want to open it up to any questions that you might have for Josh, or suggestions for potential things. I know he's only shared with us 2 of the things that he's done, but I want to open it up to the group.
Josh, your program sounds amazing. Very good job. That's so
Thank you
exciting.
so much, Ms. Tasha.
I'm wondering, did you reach out to any grocery stores? Did you have some other, like larger donations that came in from businesses, or was this really just kids finding things from their shelves and buying specifically for it?
In the past, we have reached out to several businesses, and they've been able to work with us. This time around, we did not. Honestly, it was a short time. I know the month of November, we already lost the week because of Thanksgiving. So we just decided to go ahead and do the schools. Every family decided to reach out. Near the end, one thing I did forget to mention is our students, as they collected the items every afternoon, they kept tally of which class had the most, donations. In the morning announcements every morning, the 21st Century team will go up, make their announcement, and kind of like the whole entire school, it turned into that huge pride of, oh my goodness, okay, my class is losing. And it was day in and day out, different class in the top 3. To the point that the very last day, I had a parent come to the school. She spent over $400 in Walmart with just buying pasta for $1 and every can she could find for less than $1, to go ahead and donate it to her child's homeroom class. Even though she made that huge donation, her child still lost because another parent decided to go ahead and get their church involved in this and brought in a whole van full of donations as well. So it turned into more of instead of reaching out to our businesses, it was more of the school family setting.
Awesome. For those of you who have just joined, Joshua Folch is joining us from Kissimmee at the PM Wells Charter School, where he is the director of the 21st Century Learning Center and, Community Learning Center. And he's just been sharing a really cool project that they have been engaged in during the month of November. And we're just kind of opening it up to questions before we move on in our agenda. Any other questions from the committee, from the collaborative?
Josh, I just wanted to thank you for sharing. I think that this is a great project and an exemplar for many of our programs. What I wanted to ask is, I heard you mention that it's this started with a kindergartner seeing a homeless person, and then the 8th graders would kind of help with the food drive. And so it seemed like it ran the gamut for all the students in the school. And so I was interested to find out how the students interacted with one another during the planning process. I think it's really great to have students of multi ages come together. The younger ones can learn from the older ones and vice versa. And so I was just wondering, kind of during the project, what was the interaction like, and did you see any nuggets that you can remember?
Thank you so much, Ms. Berry, for the question. The way that it worked out is, of course, we have our, like I said, our family meetings once a month, where we all come together, the whole entire program. We kind of give them any upcoming events, any kind of news of the program, and then we open it up to questions, concern. We just have kind of like a little powwow together. But as the event started going on, what we started to notice is, okay, how can we turn this little project into pretty much a project-based learning activity for the different grade levels? Our primary grade levels from kinder to 2nd grade was pretty much our marketing tools. They were creating flyers, they were creating notes to send out to businesses in regards to getting boxes donated. And they were sending a lot of the notes that, hey, parents, we need you guys and stuff like that. They were also creating our poster banners, which we were changing pretty much bi-weekly at that point in regards to the cafeteria of the updated charts of donations. Our middle school side went ahead, and what they did is focusing on the college and career and kind of reaching out that component that we've taught them in the past. They started working with the site coordinator, Ms. Michelle Reed, to go ahead and work together and be able to reach out to different agencies that were willing to take the donation. And what can we go ahead and what are they about? Because what they wanted to go ahead and do is not only reach out to an agency that could go ahead and accept and pick up the donations, but hey, how long have you been around? Can you talk to us? So they scheduled actually a few little interviews with those coordinators or even volunteer directors at those agencies. And they did a Zoom session with them to try to see, okay, we want to go ahead and collect this, but we want to figure out which agency we want to go ahead and donate to. Our 3rd through 5th grade group, what they did is they were pretty much our workforce. So we had, of course, our little marketing, little army. We had our interviewing group in regards to the agency, but then our workforce, they did a lot of the picking up the donations. It was kind of difficult at times because of COVID. So we had to work together with the facilities department, getting gloves for the students, making sure that, of course, they're safe through it all. So they did a lot of the classroom pickup and then the counting and then go ahead and storing it in an area that we could go ahead and store it as long as we can until the St. Cloud Community Pantry came out to reach out to us. So there was a lot of working together as a huge program, which worked even great.